So welcome to the show, Sheri. How are you this morning?
I'm doing great. Thank you. This is fun to be with you and Joe, and it's been a great morning.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sheri, pronounce your last name again.
Bistreich.
Bist
Bist like mist.
Bistreich.
And then Reich like R-I-S-H. I had to learn to say it too.
Okay, good.
And Pat Shannon's had fun with it for years.
And you're with Ameriprise Financial. Tell us a little bit about how long you've been with them and what you sort of specialize in.
I've been a financial advisor for 31 years, and I specialize in helping people reach their goals. I think my bachelor's degree is in psychology, which is a surprise to many people. But I got into the financial business as a different way of helping people and focusing on their goals and dreams and using all 7 areas of comprehensive financial planning to actually help them be in a better position than they were before they came to see me. So whatever their unique situation is, I can help them through it. And my clients tend to stay with me for a long time. So I've had some clients for 20, 30 years, and we've walked through various stages of life.
Well, I know Nicole wants to talk a little bit about this tilt, but Nicole, let's save a little bit of time because I'd like to talk to her. I like to get on the Google,
Yeah, go for it.
And Sheri had written an article about finding financial stability after a divorce, which I thought was a really interesting article. I kind of wanted to go through it, but let's go ahead and finish your conversation with tilt, because you're telling me we've got the perfect person to fit this piece of the pie. So while we've got her, let's go ahead and talk about it a little bit.
Yeah. So, Sheri helps people who are small business owners and individuals. And again, if you're going to deal with somebody's money, it's imperative that they have enough courage to take some risk in the market, right? But at the same time, doing it through facts and figures. So how do you see your personal courage showing up in how you work with people?
I tell clients that I will tell them what I see, what they need to hear, not particularly what they want to hear. So I'm not always relaying good information and what people need to know, because it's about making difficult decisions. So sometimes it takes a lot of courage to bring hard facts and information to people and to help walk them through some tough decisions. Or, as Joe mentioned, when people are going through a divorce, to have the courage to be with them and help them make those difficult decisions. And some clients are in a really bad position because of whatever is going on, and it takes courage to sit with them and help walk them through year by year what their situation is, so that we can get to the better side of it.
Right. And so don't miss that. Remember the polarity I was talking about before the break. So the polarity between courage is the opposite side is humanity. And listen to her language. She says, I walk them through it. And, I'm sure she's using her psychological background, right, to talk people off the ledge, especially when it comes to divorce or something like that.
It's so hard to talk about courage in business, right? Like they kind of don't fit, right, until you think through it. So when I the way I've been described courage in business, Nicole, and I'd like to get your opinion on this.
Yeah.
It really is just sort of fighting through the fear. I wouldn't consider myself a courageous guy, but I probably have concerns about half the things I do during the week, right? But I embrace that and move forward with that. Can you kind of talk about that, because that's really what Sheri is talking about here, and what she does is help them through it. So when she says I hold their hand, I walk them through that,
right,
because they're uncomfortable doing that on their own, and so that's kind of how I see that. Am I getting that right, or am I missing the mark?
No, you're right on it, because here are the actual character traits underneath the virtue of courage. There's this thing of being assertive, not aggressive, but assertive, being decisive. I tell people what they need to hear, whether they want to hear it or not, right? Being fair, honoring people, being honest, and being engaged and tenacious. So it's just about like this idea of a very forward energy. So you got to be very forward with people and tell them what they need to do, but it doesn't mean that you lose the humanity side, which is being diplomatic, tactful, empathetic, and respectful of their current situation. Like they're going through a divorce. You can't be too really have that discernment again about how forward to be.
Well, Sheri, if I could choose what personality to take, I'd take yours over mine.
I appreciate the compliment. Thank you.
Let's dig into this article. I really found it interesting, right? And it does show the humanity side of your business and that you really do care about your clients. And I found it really interesting. Let's just and we don't have a lot of time, so I just kind of want to just touch on some of these. And again, this article you wrote, Finding Financial Stability After Divorce. The first one says, adjust your budget to match your current lifestyle. That one's pretty self-explanatory, but probably very hard to do.
Well, it is, because for most people, perhaps there were two incomes, or perhaps it's a woman who had not been outside in the workforce and now does not have all of that other income. Perhaps maybe has alimony, maybe has child support, maybe not. Maybe they have to re-enter the workforce or just live on their own income without their spouses. So it may involve a whole change of location. They have to move, they have to downsize. That's difficult if that's been a place you've been in for a very long time and that's your home and you don't want to leave it, but financially you have to. And there's lots of difficult decisions that people have to stop and think about a whole new life. So it's one thing, the emotional side of maybe I thought I'd be married forever, maybe I didn't even want this, who knows what happened, and then you've got the whole financial side that you have to deal with as well. So I have to walk people through juggling both of them, but helping them understand financially this is what things look like, because I don't just look at today, but I look out to the future. We really do still have to get those kids educated. We really do have to save for retirement. What are those other goals you told me about? How do we also plan for them? And it's difficult for somebody in such an emotional state to even think about any of that.
The next one that you talk about is interesting. Adjust your patterns on things that you spend. I find that's really an interesting statement, because it might mean I'm not going to Starbucks anymore. You know, that again, that's not an easy one either.
No, we all have our patterns of what we do, and we almost do it without thinking. Oh, I go to Starbucks and I spend the money, for example, and I enjoy it. But when people have to sit down and actually look at a budget, and we all say, I don't live on a budget. Everybody lives on a budget, maybe not Warren Buffett, but almost all of us to some degree. We have to reevaluate, where are our priorities? Okay, I can still do X if I want to, but that means I have to cut back on Y.
I guarantee you Warren Buffett lives on a budget. It might be a little larger than mine, but I guarantee
a little.
He manages his money in that fashion.
Yeah. So it's tough to rethink everything we're doing and just make priorities out of everything again, all over again.
So the next one that I see here is prioritize savings for retirement. That's probably a really difficult one, depending on the time that this happens, this type of divorce, because both sides of the spectrum, things change drastically. I mean, at best you're cutting things in half.
Exactly, and people.
Whoa! Did you hear what she just said, Nicole?
Exactly.
I gotcha. Okay, good. Sheri said, what in the heck's going on?
No, she fits right in. This is why, she's advanced. That's why she's here. She catches on. That's what we brought her for.
Sorry, Sheri, I didn't mean to catch you off guard with that one.
So it was about prioritizing before Joe distracted you. Okay? He was talking about prioritizing.
And retirement is the one thing that we really do need to always remember is our priority, because we really can't borrow money for it like we might be able to do for education or buying a home, and we have to keep it center front, even though it may be out front.
That's a great statement. You cannot borrow for retirement. That's a great statement.
Yes, and so it may be different than we anticipated it would be without a spouse we thought would be there.
Right.
But again, it's sitting back to say, okay, I can't even think this minute, but at some point, saving for retirement still has to be part of the plan.
Thank you so much. We really do appreciate it. We have run out of time.
Thanks, Sheri.